And welcome, baseball fans, to another edition of Klamath Falls Falcons baseball on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on MyBasin.com. It is day number 3 at the Alaska 529 Midseason Classic in Anchorage as the Falcons get ready to take on the Kenai Twins in the final game of pool play. Glad to be with you today from Mulcahy Stadium here in Anchorage. My name is Josh Eldridge. The Falcons enter with a 2-0 record in group play. Kenai entering now with a 1-0-1 record, coming fresh off a tie just a few minutes ago against Chugiak. They tied up 5-5. We'll tell you all what that means as we line up for a Pool B and potential for Klamath Falls to make the bracket and participate in a semifinal tomorrow. Believe they've already booked their ticket after that tie a moment ago, but we'll be sure in just a minute as we step aside for a quick 60-second break to get things going. The Falcons are the home team. They take the field, and we'll introduce you to their starting lineup as well as the starters for the Kenai Twins coming up in just a minute on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
To reclaim your health and your autonomy. At Heartfelt OBGYN, they focus on you. Their evidence-based approach to care means fewer office visits and a targeted treatment plan to directly address your specific needs. They believe in solutions for their patients, not the industry's profit margin. The providers at Heartfelt OBGYN are committed to serving the community and giving back to the basin. Find them at heartfeltobgyn.com. Heartfelt, because you deserve to be in control of your body and your informed choices.
At Eisler Group, they are confident that their tax and accounting professionals are experienced and trained like no one else. From individual, corporate, partnership, estate, trust, Eisler Group stands ready to help you with all of your financial, tax, and accounting needs. They have been in Klamath Falls for nearly 60 years, raising their families here and being part of the community. The Eisler Group can be found at eislerkf.com. That's ISLERKF.com. eislerkf.com.
And we welcome you back to the Alaska 529 Midseason Classic as the Klamath Falls Falcons get ready to play the final game of group play against the Kenai Twins. Kenai entering with an overall record of 9-4 on the season and a tournament record of 1-0-1. Of course, the Klamath Falls Falcons 2-0 in tournament play, 16-3 overall on the season. Ryan Douglas getting the start on the mound for the Klamath Falls Falcons. Have an opportunity to look at Ryan Douglas on the season, making his first start of the summer, his 5th overall appearance. Douglas carries a record of 1-0 and an ERA of 2.10 in 6 2/3 innings pitched. He's given up 11 hits and 2 earned runs. His first task is the leadoff hitter, Daniel Stephenson for Kenai, and first pitch is in the zone for strike 1. And that is how we get started today on a beautiful 64-degree day here in Anchorage. Clouds overhead, but it's lining up to be a great one today as the 0-1 pitch is swung on and missed from Douglas, and he gets ahead of Stephenson 0-2. Batting next in the order for Kenai, it'll be their shortstop, Jet Brophy, followed by their center fielder, Matthew Schilling, is batting third. Stu Stuyvesant is at first base, batting fifth, as a ground out is going to be how we get our first out in this ball game. After Stuyvesant, it is Jacob Jonas at third base. He'll be followed by Gavin Peterson, the starting pitcher for Kenai. The right fielder, Jackson Kaditz, is batting seventh. Batting eighth is their catcher, Ari Miller. Rounding out their order is Clyde Clements, the second baseman. A swing and a miss is how the at-bat gets started to Jet Brophy, batting from the right side. Brophy, class of 2027. Over there in Kenai. This is one of the few teams that is made up of a handful of different schools in this tournament. You know, you got South Anchorage and West Anchorage and Chugiak, all primarily draw from one school, but 3 schools make up the population for these Kenai Twins. As the count now a ball and 2 strikes to Brophy. Douglas is working quickly out there on the mound, and the 1-2 is going to be a line drive over the head of Takini at second and into center field, and that'll be a base hit for Brophy, and will bring up Matthew Schilling, standing 6'1", class of 26 for the Twins. As now with a runner on first and one out, Douglas will be working out of the stretch. Of course, Klamath Falls coming off a win yesterday against Chugiak 10-5. Kenai played their first game of the tournament yesterday and won it as well, 10-6. Ground ball to Shively, tossed it to Keeney for one. Won't be able to get the back end, but a fielder's choice makes it now 2 outs in the inning. And it will bring up number 15, Jaden Stuyvesant. Stuyvesant stands 6'2", class of 26 for the Kenai Twins. And a runner aboard at first is Schilling. As Douglas looks in to Jacoby Takini, the other half of his battery, introduce you to the rest of the Falcon starters after the first pitch misses low. At third base, it's P.J. Safford, Connor Shively at short, Colin Takini at second with Corbin Hamilton at first. Carson Pimley is in left field. Max Price is in center, and Carson Sims is in right. A swing and a miss on the 1-0 pitch will even the count to the starting first baseman for Kenai, Stuyvesant, spelled Stuyvesant. Stuyvesant takes strike 2 on the inside corner, and Douglas gets ahead of the cleanup hitter for Kenai. Stuyvesant pitched the latter half of the game in which Kenai tied earlier. Sends a ground ball to third base, foul. And it was a game in which Chugiak got out to an early lead, but Kenai slowly chipping away, scoring single runs in each of the last 4 innings, I believe. And tied it up in the bottom of the 7th. Game went into extra innings. We had to call it by the 2-hour, 15-minute time limit. But after 9 innings, Kenai still tied up with Chugiak, and so now there's been 2 ties in this tournament. The other came back on the first day, and the nightcap is West Anchorage tied Madisonville 6-6. All right, Douglas settles back in for a 1-2 count, gets the sign from Takini, comes set, motion over to first, but back safely is the runner at first. That's Schilling. Schilling, of course, reaching on the fielder's choice a moment ago. As Douglas readies the 1-2 pitch to Stuyvesant, it is called strike 3. No reason to throw down. That will end the inning. And 1 base hit, 1 runner left for Kenai in the top of the first. Falcons get their first crack at things next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start?
Here, in the classroom.
On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
Josh Eldridge back with you as we get set for the bottom of the first inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com. Still scoreless, and the Falcons get their first crack at things against Gavin Peterson. The Falcons lineup goes like this. Leading off and in center field is Max Price. Connor Shively, the shortstop, bats second. Jacoby Takini, the catcher, batting third, followed by Colin Takini at second base, batting cleanup for the Falcons. P.J. Safford is at third base. He bats fifth, followed by Ian Meyer, the designated hitter, batting sixth. The first baseman, Corbin Hamilton, hits seventh, followed by Carson Pimley in left field, and Carson Sims patrols right field. He'll bat ninth today for the Falcons in their blue uniforms today with their gray pants, and Kenai, the Twins, wearing their red tops and white pants today. As the first pitch misses in, and probably a little bit low to Max Price, and the count is 1-0. Yesterday, Price, a solid outing for the Falcons. That was in their win against Chugiak. Price was 3 for 4 in that contest with an RBI, 3 singles, and he also scored 2 runs in that contest. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Price. He fouls it straight back, and the count now 1-2 to the Falcons center fielder. Now, Price started yesterday at third, but most other times he's been in center field here in Anchorage. The 1-2 is a line drive to left center field, giving chase and making the catch in left field. And a really great play out there in left by Stephenson to put away Price, the first out in the bottom of the first inning. This will bring up Connor Shively. Shively in yesterday's win over Chugiak was 1 for 2. He had an RBI as well. He walked 3 times in the win yesterday as he takes ball 1 low. Walks was something of a theme yesterday for the Klamath Falls Falcons, powering them to that 10-5 win over Chugiak. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Shively sends a ground ball out towards second. The diving snag and the throw on to first is in time. Another good defensive play there by Kenai. That time it was Clemens who came up with the play. And there are 2 quick outs in the bottom of the first inning for the Falcons. First, a running catch over the shoulder and left, and then a sliding stop out there at second. It brings up Jacoby Takini with 2 outs in the frame. Takini in yesterday's contest had an RBI, but he was hitless, going 0 for 3. It's the pitch to Takini. He sends a line drive to left field, and that one will be caught to end the inning. Falcons down in order in the first. We'll head to the second next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
At MyBasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
the pace and reach of social media,
the information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
MyBasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
Josh Eldridge back with you from Anchorage, Alaska for the Alaska 529 Midseason Classic. Before we get much further today, want to remind you that today's coverage of the Alaska 529 Midseason Classic on MyBasin.com is brought to you by Heartfelt OBGYN in Klamath Falls and the Eisler Group. Big thanks to those folks who stepped up and made coverage of this tournament possible. Without them, we wouldn't be able to bring this broadcast to you at all. As ground ball sent out to P.J. Safford, 1 pitch and 1 gone as Jacob Jonas grounds out to start the second inning. It'll be Jonas, who's been retired. Now Gavin Peterson, the starting pitcher for Kenai. He'll be followed by Jackson Cadence in the hole, now on deck for Kenai. That pitch called a strike. The count is 1-0 as Douglas gets ahead of his counterpart. That's Peterson, the pitcher. Working from the windup now. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Another sharp grounder, this time bounced foul. The count is 1-1 to Gavin Peterson. Douglas from Henley High School mixes up his pitches all right. Doesn't come with a ton of velocity. He's going to have to rely on his ability to place the ball in and around the zone. trying to keep these hitters from Kenai off balance, who, well, frankly, pretty warmed up after playing a 9-inning affair just a couple of minutes ago. As an inside curveball goes swing and a miss, and down goes Peterson, strikeout. And that's the second casualty in the second inning. This brings up Jackson Kaditz for Kenai. Kaditz, the starting right fielder today. He stands 5'11", class of 2027 for the Twins. As Douglas delivers the first offering to him. It's a weak fly ball down the first base line, winds up in foul territory. And the count is 0-1 to Kaditz. Ari Miller is on deck for Kenai if the inning continues. But again, already 2 quick outs this frame. For Kenai, this is going to be their third game in group play as well. They defeated South Anchorage last night 10-6. And like I said, tied earlier today. As that pitch misses upstairs. The count is now 1-1. Now, the Falcons 2-0. They have already secured their spot in bracket play tomorrow. Now, whether they'll play as the top team out of Pool B or the second best team out of Pool B will be decided in this contest. As Douglas misses inside there, the count is 2-1. Now, a ground ball foul. Looked like it came up and ricocheted off the back shoulder from Kaditz, and the count is 2-2. Douglas readies for the 2-2. Here it is. It's in the dirt, and so the count is full to Jackson Kaditz for Kenai. Go a little bit more in depth in the standings here in just a moment for the 5-2-9 Midseason Classic, as a line drive is caught by Shively at short, and a diving catch, stealing a base hit away from Kaditz, will end the top of the second inning. We'll go to the bottom half next, scoreless, on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
We drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see 2 things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys, and I want to see my high school. And those are the 2 memories that stick out the most to me.
And welcome you back to Klamath Falls Falcons baseball on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com. Getting ready for the bottom of the second inning of a scoreless ball game. It'll be Colin Tacchini, P.J. Safford, then Ian Meyer due up this half inning for the Klamath Falls Falcons as we continue to roll right along here. Like I said, the Falcons securing their spot in bracket play tomorrow, trying to win the Alaska 5-2-9 Midseason Classic. First pitch missed low. The count is 1-0. I think that one came back and caught the umpire a little bit, so we'll have a brief pause in the action, give him a chance to catch his breath a little bit. The pools are determined by a points system here at the 5-2-9 Midseason Classic, where if you win a game, you earn 4 points. If you tie a game, you earn 2 points, and if you lose a game, well, of course, you earn no points. And so right now, with the Falcons standing at 2-0, they have earned 8 points. And so right now, they are in first place in Pool B. Now, Kenai has earned 6 points with 1 win and 1 tie. As the 1-0 pitch is going to be swung on and missed by Tacchini, the count is 1-1. So if my math serves me correct, The only way that Kenai can knock off the Falcons and take the top spot out of Pool B is by actually beating them here. A tie won't do it, as the Falcons would then also earn 2 points, and that would put them at 10 overall for the tournament, earning them the top spot out of Pool B, which means you'd play at 5 o'clock tomorrow against the second team out of Pool A. As the 1-2 pitch is grounded foul from Colin Takini, the count remains a ball and 2 strike. Now, taking a look over at Pool A, there's 2 teams at the top right now. It's Madisonville of Kentucky and West Anchorage, both at 6 points. Both carry a 1-0-1 record, tying against each other earlier in the tournament. As Takini hits a line drive into center field, and a base hit is how we get started in the bottom of the second for the Falcons. Their first hit of the contest off the bat of Colin Takini. Now a chance to look at P.J. Safford for the Klamath Falls Falcons. Safford, of course, the winning pitcher from yesterday's contest here in Anchorage. Safford pitched a complete game for the Falcons, allowing 9 hits, 5 runs, 4 of them earned. He struck out 4 batters and really did a good job of just being a workhorse, really. I mean, you really can't overstate how important it is to get a good quality long start out of your guys, especially in these tournament settings where Safford saved guys to pitch, like, of course, Douglas, who we'll see today, and Colby Medeiros, who might get some time a little bit later on. Both of the Glidden brothers are eligible, and that's because they didn't have to come in and throw relief innings behind Safford yesterday. As the pitch misses upstairs, Takini is on the move and slides in safely, and he is in scoring position now as Safford is ahead in the count, 2-0. Ian Meyer is up next for the Falcons. He talked plenty about what Safford has done on the hill yesterday, but at the plate, a little bit quieter of a day for PJ, although still somewhat productive. He walked a couple of times. He scored 1 run. He grounded out twice, so he finished 0 for 2, but that 1 run that came in the 6th inning added some insurance for the Falcons, as again, their 10-5 win against Chugiak yesterday secured them the spot in the bracket. The 2-1 pitch on the way to Safford will miss well outside. The count is now 3-1 to the Falcons starting third baseman. Safford's gone a few games without a hit now. So you'd have to go back to the Falcons' second game in Alaska against the Wasilla Road Warriors back at the Todd Ryan Memorial Tournament to find the last time Safford got a base hit, a game in which he finished 1 for 3. But here works a walk. He's still able to get on base. And Takini in its scoring position. Now Safford aboard at first. It'll bring up Ian Meyer, the designated hitter. Now Meyer's been doing a fine job here in Alaska. Yesterday, he was 0 for 1 in the contest, only got 1 at-bat. But going back to the opener against South Anchorage, Meyer was 1 for 2 with 3 RBI. Here he lays down a sacrifice bunt that drifts foul, and the count is 0-1. Meyer also having a good day earlier in the stay in Alaska when the Falcons played their first game against the Palmer Pioneers. That was also at the Todd Ryan Memorial Tournament, where Meyer was only 1 for 4, but a big 2 RBI single in the 3rd inning helped lift the Falcons past Palmer in that contest. As a pitch misses high, the count is 1-1 to Ian, and Corbin Hamilton is on deck. Still nobody out in the inning. Back-to-back singles from Takini, then Safford is how we've got these 2 men on for Ian Meyer. The second baseman trying to hold the runner honest over there. Now Meyer shows bunt again. This time shoves it out in front of the pitcher's mound. Peterson's going to have no other option except to go to first with it, and so he does. A sacrifice bunt laid down by Meyer will move 2 men into scoring position. Ian doing his job there. And that's probably what he does best for this team. And it'll bring up Corbin Hamilton now with 1 out and 2 men in scoring position. Hamilton found himself in similar spots yesterday. It was 1 for 1 in that contest. First pitch to Hamilton misses upstairs, 1-0. I'm was misremembering there. It was actually the game against South Anchorage that Hamilton came up in a spot like this. That was the opener of this tournament. Hamilton finished 1 for 2 with 2 RBI in that contest as the 1-0 pitch misses downstairs and inside to Hamilton. It's 2-0 to the Falcons' first baseman. Carson Pimley, the left fielder, bats next for the boys in blue. Decent lead off a second for Safford. About 5 steps. Here's the pitch home to Hamilton. Sends a ground ball to the left side of the infield. Through and into left field. That's going to score 1. They're waving in Safford. The throw from the outfield takes the catcher up the line, and Safford slides in safely. It's also going to allow Hamilton to advance to second on the throw, and a 2 RBI single for Corbin Hamilton gives the Falcons a 2-0 lead. Tacchini scored from third, Safford from second. Couldn't have been done without the sacrifice bunt to Ian Meyer. He should get props on that development as well. And it will now bring up Carson Pimley for the Klamath Falls Falcons. Yesterday was 0 for 2, but he also walked twice. A small little a biplane of some variety flies overhead here at Mulcahy Stadium, quite loud, so now we're ready to go. I think everyone was taking a moment to watch that thing fly by. Here's the pitch, misses upstairs to Pimley. The count is 1-0. We've been seeing that quite a bit. The airport is not very far from where we are, and whether it's the main Anchorage airport, I think there's a secondary airfield around here somewhere where so many little planes have come in and out of while we've been playing ball here at Mulcahy. Pitch to Pimley is right down the middle. And the count is even now. A ball and a strike with 1 out and 1 runner in scoring position. A 2-0 ball game, and the Falcons lead the Twins from Kenai, Alaska, the bottom of the second inning. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. The count is a ball and 2 strikes. Kenai hosted the Lance Cos Woodbat tournament last weekend and placed second in their hosted tournament. They lost that event to Madisonville of Kentucky, as that pitch misses inside to Pimley, 2-2. Now, Madisonville, of course, is the team that the Falcons beat to win the Todd Ryan Memorial Tournament earlier in the week. And Madisonville playing in this event as well. And like I said, checking in on them, they are 1-0-1 as Pimley takes a pitch below the knees for ball 3. Madisonville plays their final game of group play tonight against Diamond at 7:30. Now, Diamond is all but eliminated from bracket play coming up tomorrow, at least for the semifinal, as Pimley looks at strike 3 for the second out in the second inning. It'll bring up Carson Sims now. Carson Sims looking to continue to roll right along. He swings and misses at this pitch, falls behind 0-1. The Falcons' first game against South Anchorage here at the 529 Midseason Classic. Sims was named the player of the game for the Falcons, going 2 for 2 with 2 RBI and a double. Yesterday, he finished 1 for 4 with a single in the second inning of that contest. Right now, he's behind in the count 0-2 to Gavin Peterson. Peterson comes set. The right-hander delivers. And Sims will take a pitch that misses well high and remains alive in this at-bat 1-2. Max Price is on deck for the Falcons. Back to the top of the order after Sims. The catcher, Miller, delivers the sign, and here comes the pitch. Runner is on the move to third. A swing and a miss. Sims goes down on strikes, and that will end the second inning. But the Falcons get on the board. 3 base hits, score 2 runs, and they'll carry a 2-0 lead to the top of the third next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Pacific Power works day in and day out to power our communities because we know our neighbors rely on us. We're trimming and clearing branches around poles and lines, protecting our system, and giving you real-time updates when storms roll in. You can count on us in all seasons. 24/7, we're here for you. Powering your greatness.
It's the top of the third inning, and the Klamath Falls Falcons lead the Kenai Twins 2-0 in the final game of group play for the Falcons. A win here would mean they earn the top spot in the Pool B of this tournament. If they tie as well, I suppose they'll also earn the top spot. And even if they lose, they will be the second team out of Pool B, meaning they are in the semifinal and will play tomorrow for a chance to advance to the championship game. Leading off this half inning for the Twins is Ari Miller, their catcher. He'll be followed by Clyde Clemens and then Daniel Stephenson. It's 8, 9, and 1 in the order for Kenai to start the third inning. First pitch to Miller was fouled off. The count is 0-1. Douglas back on the hill and ready to throw. Here's the pitch. It misses in, and the count is 1-1. Douglas throwing from the right side, the right-handed hitting Miller. As that pitch is fouled right back off the ankle of Miller. Youch, he's going to have to walk that one off. So he'll take a lap, and Jacoby Takini is going to come on out and talk to their team. A 9-inning affair in which Kenai tied Chugiak a few minutes ago. It was about closer to a half hour or so ago now. But Kenai showed a lot of heart battling back in that game. They're no strangers to playing down early, as that pitch also missed away. The count is 2-2. Settling back in now is Miller. And Douglas delivers the 2-2. It is looked at for a ball, misses below the knees. The count is 3-2. Now look back at that. That pitch misses high and in. The count is, that was a walk actually. And Miller able to get on board there to lead off the third inning. In steps now Clyde Clemens. Clemens getting his first look at Douglas in the game. I wanted to bring up the score, or the game again from earlier for Kenai, but first we'll take a look at Clemens as the infield comes in protecting bunt. He tries to lay down a bunt, pulls back, but looks at strike one. Kenai was down in that game 4-0 in the third inning. And they were also down 5-1 in the fourth, but they scored 1 run in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, and 1 in the seventh to first force extra innings and then remain tied with Chugiak for the duration, as now the count is 0-2 to Clemens. Clemens finished 1 for 3 with an RBI in the game earlier for Kenai. Here's the pitch. It's going to miss high and away. And the count is 1-2. In that contest, Kenai scored their 5 runs on 8 hits. Only committed 1 error. And like I said, showed a lot of heart to be able to come back from being down in the middle innings. As that pitch misses in, 2-2. No stranger to it. As Douglas comes set. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Douglas getting the strikeout there. The third strikeout of the game for Douglas is our first out in the third inning. Back to the top of the order now for Kenai. It's Daniel Stephenson, who was one of those strikeout casualties earlier in the contest. He led off the game with that K. As Douglas takes a move over to first. Back safely is Miller. In the win for Kenai, or the tie for Kenai, he was 0 for 5 with a strikeout in that game. Wasn't able to leave his mark in that contest, hoping for a different outcome for himself today. As Douglas delivers the pitch, that one believe it missed upstairs. I thought I heard it ring off the bat, but it didn't. And the count is 1-0 to Stephenson. Up next is Jet Brophy for Kenai. Here's the pitch. Misses in the dirt. Kicks away from Takini for a second. On the move to second is Miller, and he will get in safely. And so a 2-0 count, and now a runner in scoring position after the wild pitch gives Daniel Stephenson an RBI opportunity in the top of the third inning. Douglas delivers the pitch. That one also in the dirt. Takini doing a good job of blocking it, though. 3-0. I should say, not in the dirt, in the artificial field turf surface here at Mulcahy Stadium. It is turfed all the way in the infield and a little bit past the cut of the outfield grass, and then the field turf extends all the way down the foul lines as well with a natural grass outfield. As the 3-0 pitch misses inside, and a walk delivered to Stephenson. And this will bring up Jet Brophy. Brophy singled back in the first inning. Getting his second crack at Douglas here with 2 men on and 1 man out. See if they decide to go for a bunt again. That's what Kenai had thought about doing when Clements was hitting a moment ago. And Matt Schilling is on deck. Yeah, here he shows bunt, shoves it right out to Douglas. He bobbles it, bringing it up, and he's going to get nobody. As Brophy reaches on the error, and that will load him up for Matt Schilling. Miller advances to third, Stephenson to second, and Brophy reaching on the error. And in steps Matt Schilling. Schilling is 0 for 1 today. He reached on a fielder's choice in the first, but flash you back to that first game in which Kenai played earlier today. And Schilling was 3 for 3 with 2 doubles and an RBI. If you're Kenai, this is the guy you want up in this spot. Douglas going to have to buckle down as he fires in strike 1. Schilling, class of 26, batting from the left side for Kenai. As Douglas, working out of the windup now with the bases loaded, delivers the 0-1 pitch. That one is fouled off. The count is 0-2. Tying and go-ahead run on base for Kenai here in the top of the third. Douglas gets the sign in from Takini. Begins his motion from the windup. The 0-2 misses down and in. And the count is a ball and 2 strikes to Schilling. Jaden Stuyvesant is on deck for Kenai. Here's the delivery from Douglas. It's a curveball that misses upstairs. The count is even now, 2-2. Douglas has already walked 2 batters this inning. It's Stephenson at second and Miller at third. And again, Brophy reached on the error. Trying to bring it back into the zone here on a 2-2 pitch to Schilling. The delivery from Douglas is a fastball that just misses inside. Not a bad location for Douglas there, trying to jam up the left-handed hitter. But a good take by Schilling will run the count full with 1 out. Pitch from Douglas will miss, and that will walk in a run. Miller scores. Stephenson to third, Brophy to second, and now Schilling aboard at first, now in a 2-1 ball game. And in steps Jaden Stuyvesant. Stuyvesant, class of 26, stands 6'2", tallest player on the roster, and at 230, he looks to be about the strongest player on the roster too. Big thighs and big upper body as well. Stuyvesant hitting here with the bases loaded as the cleanup hitter. He's looking to do just that. Pitch on the way is going to miss in, and the count is 1-0. After Stuyvesant in the order is Jacob Jonas. Douglas still working out of the windup with these bases loaded. Here's the pitch. 1-0 finds the zone, even now, 1-1. Stuyvesant also successful in the Twins' tie earlier today. Finished 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored as well. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one misses below the knees. The count now 2-1 to Stuyvesant. Douglas trying to work himself out of this jam. The tying run now at third. Go-ahead run in scoring position. Pitch from Douglas. Pulls the string on the changeup and gets a swing and a miss from Stuyvesant. The count now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Big pitch coming up here from Douglas against the right-handed hitting Stuyvesant. Here's the delivery. Misses upstairs, and the count is 3-2. Douglas already walked home 1 run this inning. In danger of making it 2. Here's the pitch. And he does. It misses downstairs, and another free pass. Everyone moves up a station, and the game is tied. Stephenson scores. Brophy to third. Schilling to second, and now Stuyvesant aboard at first. Reminiscent to how the Falcons scored a bunch of their runs in the win yesterday. 4 walks this inning, and this will trigger a visit from Coach Craig Connor. And we'll see if they wind up making a change here or if this is just to have a discussion for the Falcons. And Ryan Douglas comes on out of the game. And we will take a quick break here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com. Back in just a minute as we'll welcome a new pitcher into the game next.
So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been waiting forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place. And then I heard your voice. I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coldwell Banker, where home begins.
Welcome you back here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on MyBasin.com. And for those of you watching on MyBasin.com, apologies for the video picture that you're not receiving right now. My camera that I've got in here is overheated, so we'll have to wait on that for a second. Not quite sure how that's done that when it's only 65 degrees here in Anchorage. I've had this thing running when it's 85, 95, but I guess with how the sun is reflecting right on it, perhaps it's given it a little bit of an issue here, but we'll do our best we can to get it back up for you here in just a minute. For the very least, you can keep on listening to the game, and I'll try it again here in a couple of minutes. We'll keep that scoreboard up and running for you, too, in the bottom left of your screen. As the new pitcher in the game is Hunter Glidden. His first task in relief will be Jacob Jonas with the bases loaded and 1 out in a 2-2 ball game. Here's the pitch. It's going to miss low and away. The count is 1-0. Jonas 0 for 1 in the contest today. He grounded out back in the second inning. After Jonas, it's Gavin Peterson. Glidden comes in relief of Ryan Douglas, trying to battle himself out of a jam as that pitch misses outside, and the count is 2-0. Like I said, the Falcons already secured their spot in bracket play, so it might be a pitch by committee sort of situation today for the Falcons. You try to save maybe some of your more top arms, guys with more velocity and movement, more experienced guys for tomorrow in the semifinals and the finals. So anticipate that switching over to Hunter here will probably not be the only change for the Falcons on the mound for the rest of the game as Glidden finds a nice pitch on the outside corner there. The count is 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jonas. And here comes the pitch from Hunter Glidden. It is hit in the air towards center field. That one is caught by Price, tagging, looking to score from third is Brophy, but the throw is cut off by Hamilton, and nobody gets to move. Nice job by getting the ball in quickly by Max Price. Now there are 2 away in the inning, and it'll bring up Gavin Peterson. Peterson 0 for 1 in the contest today. Glidden fires in a fastball, just misses outside, and the count is 1-0. Again, at third is Brophy, at second is Schilling, and at first is Stuyvesant. Peterson, the starting pitcher, looks in, and the pitch is going to be popped up in the infield. Glidden's going to call everybody off. He makes the catch to end the inning. But the Twins tie the game in the top of the third, scoring 2 runs without needing a base hit. And we'll go to the bottom half of the third. Falcons will try to respond next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com.
Time to reclaim your health and your autonomy. At Heartfelt OBGYN, they focus on you. Their evidence-based approach to care means fewer office visits and a targeted treatment plan to directly address your specific needs. They believe in solutions for their patients, not the industry's profit margin. The providers at Heartfelt OBGYN are committed to serving the community and giving back to the basin. Find them at heartfeltobgyn.com. Heartfelt, because you deserve to be in control of your body and your informed choices.
At Eisler Group, they are confident that their tax and accounting professionals are experienced and trained like no one else. From individual, corporate, partnership, estate, trust, Eisler Group stands ready to help you with all of your financial, tax, and accounting needs. They have been in Klamath Falls for nearly 60 years, raising their families here and being part of the community. The Eisler Group can be found at eislerkf.com. That's ISLERKF.com. eislerkf.com.
Getting set for the bottom of the third inning here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com. Again, for those of you watching on mybasin.com, apologies for the lack of a video feed that you're getting right now. My camera is overheated up here in the box here in Anchorage. Kind of strange considering it's not really all that hot here, but going to hopefully get it back after this half inning. So I appreciate your patience. You can continue to listen on to the game here. I'll call it like I normally would, and then hopefully we'll get the camera shot back up for you in the top of the fourth inning. Just trying to let this guy cool down for another half inning or so, as the Falcons will lead off with Max Price, Connor Shively, and Jacoby Takini. That's the top of the order for the Falcons against Gavin Peterson. Now, Kenai tied the game in the top of the third. Falcons looking to reclaim the lead here. Max Price flew out to left field in his first at-bat of the game. And the pitch misses upstairs to him here, and the count is 1-0. Price waits the pitch. That one will miss down and in. The count now 2-0. It's a wonderful day here in Anchorage. Like I said, it's even though my things are overheating, it's a real nice day. 65 degrees. The wind is blowing out over left field a little bit. The 2-0 pitch is going to miss as well. The count now 3-0 to Price. And clouds hanging overhead, but not doing much to block the sun. It's the 3-0 on the way. Is going to find the zone. It's about letter high over the middle of the plate, and the count is 3-1. Already ready to go again is Peterson. This is a sharp ground ball hit out to third. Jonas up with it. The throw on to first is not going to be there. Stuyvesant had to stretch, and his foot popped off the bag. And safe at first is Price. There's a bang-bang play as Price reaches on what I would classify as an infield single, as it was the stretch from Stuyvesant that took the foot off the bag. And so Price reaching as a leadoff base runner in the third inning, and it brings up Connor Shively. Shively also 0 for 1 in the contest today, grounded out back in the first inning. And the pitch on the way from Peterson will have to wait a moment as he goes to check on Price, but Price gets back safely. Shively settles back in, keeps his knees bent and his weight back in the left-handed batter's box. Price is on the move. The pitch is in the dirt. Price, after settling for second, thought about going to third, but then thought better of it. But now into scoring position on what would likely be a passed ball off the glove of Ari Miller. So now Shively batting with a man in scoring position, the team's leader in RBI. A chance to put his guys in front here in the bottom of the third inning. Set on the mound is Peterson. Checks on Price before delivering home, and that'll be a balk. As Peterson started his delivery, he set his front foot, and then, I'm not sure if his knee buckled or if he failed to transfer his momentum, but he didn't actually deliver the pitch. And so, yeah, that will be a balk, and the count is 1-0 to Shively. This pitch will miss upstairs. The count is 2-0. If you remember from, probably close to 10 years ago now when Tim Lincecum had a similar balk to that where he goes through his whole motion and then just doesn't release the baseball. That's sort of just what happened to Gavin Peterson. As the 2-0 pitch is hit in the air towards right field. Looks playable for Kaditz. He makes the catch. Now tagging from third to score is Max Price, and he will. And a sacrifice fly and an RBI puts the Klamath Falls Falcons up 3-2, now with one away in the bottom of the third inning. Shively picking up the RBI there, doing a nice job to put his team back up in front, extending his lead on the team in RBI. It'll bring up Jacoby Takini. Now, Takini is 0 for 1 in today's contest. He flew out to left field back in the first inning. And he'll await the first pitch from Peterson. It's a line drive into left field, and will get down in front of Stephenson for a base hit. Takini is on base with his first knock of this contest. Trying to start a new rally for the Falcons as he'll be replaced on first base by Chase Barrett. But now Colin Takini will get a chance to swing with a runner on and one out. Gavin Peterson does not work out of the windup at all. He's stayed in the stretch the whole game, even when the bases are empty. So he's seemingly comfortable out of this motion as he checks on the runner at first before motioning to Takini, who swings and misses at an upstairs fastball, and the count is 0-1. Colin singled and scored in the second inning. That was the inning in which the Falcons scored both of their 2 runs previous to that sacrifice fly a moment ago. The 0-1 pitch is grounded right back up the middle. Up with it is the shortstop, Brophy. Takes it to the second base bag for one, on to first, and that's a 6-3 double play to get the Twins out of the third inning. But the Falcons do take the lead as they're up 3-2. We go to the top half of the fourth next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start?
Here, in the classroom.
On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate.
And we welcome you back on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com. Looks like our camera shot is back on mybasin.com. Apologies for that brief interruption of your coverage as we get set for the top of the fourth inning, a game in which the Klamath Falls Falcons lead 3-2. For the Falcons, 3 runs on 4 hits, 1 error. For Kenai, 2 runs on 1 hit and 2 errors. As we get going, Hunter Glidden starts things out with a strike-looking to Jackson Kaditz. It'll be Kaditz, Miller, and Clements due up this half inning for Kenai. As that pitch finds the zone as well, slider, curveball, something with a bit of a wrinkle to it on the outside corner. And Glidden gets ahead of Kaditz 0-2. Glidden likes to work out of the stretch as well. Here he comes with the 0-2. That fastball just misses outside. The count now a ball and 2 strikes to Kaditz, who's 0-1 in this contest. He popped out to shortstop back in the second inning. Here's the pitch. It is another line drive, this time over the head of Shively and into center field. And a lead-off single gets the Twins started in the 4th inning. We'll bring up Ari Miller, who's without an official at-bat in this game. He walked and came around to score in the 3rd inning earlier today. Hunter Glidden, of course, coming in relief of Ryan Douglas. We'll close the book for Douglas here in just a moment as a bunt is laid right out to Glidden. Throw on to first is in time. An aggressive turn around the second base bag from Kaditz. Hamilton nearly got him on the back door, but now instead they'll just settle for 1 out as the tag applied. It was not in time to Kaditz. Miller laying down the bunt for the first out in the inning. And here's Clyde Clements with the tying run in scoring position. Clements struck out in his first at-bat of the game. That was when he was facing Ryan Douglas. This will be his first look at Ryan Glidden as that pitch must have missed outside. It was about belt high, and the count is 1-0. After Clements, it's back to the top of the order for the Kenai Twins. Here's the pitch. Misses outside. The count 2-0 now. I'll give you the final line score on Ryan Douglas, who pitched 2 1/3 innings, gave up 1 hit, 2 runs, 1 earned, and he walked 4 while striking out 4. Glidden comes set with the 2-0 and delivers. It's fouled straight back, and the count now 2 balls and a strike to the second baseman from Kenai. Like I said, Kenai made up of a couple different high schools in their area, along with Kenai Central High School. It's Soldotna High School and the River City Academy as well out there in the Kenai School District as that pitch finds the zone on the outside corner. 2-2. Now, Kenai and those group of schools play in the smaller D2 baseball state championship, but interestingly enough, both of those schools that I mentioned that play in the D2 did extremely well as the 2-2 is fouled off. Like I said, Kenai Central and Soldotna make up most of the population for this Kenai roster, and those teams squared off in the state championship game on June 7th, where Soldotna defeated Kenai Central 8-2 to claim the state championship, as Glidden drops in a beautiful curveball for strike 3, and I think Clemens about second-guessed if he wanted to swing, and then he third-guessed if he wanted to swing, and then by that point, it was too late, and a strikeout for the second out in the 4th inning. Back to the top of the order now for Daniel Stephenson. Sizable lead off a second for Kaditz. The delivery home is going to miss outside, 1-0. So I was talking to the Legion guys around here, the tournament directors, and some of the folks who are really in tune with all the high school teams in the area. They say, well, Kenai is usually a sneaky team because they don't play together in the springtime, so no one really knows what you're going to get when it comes time for Legion ball. As a ground ball down the third base line, gets by the diving glove of Safford and into left field. That's going to be an RBI single as Kaditz comes in to score, and Kenai ties the game at 3 in the top of the 4th inning off the single from Stephenson. That'll bring up Jet Brophy, now with 2 away and a runner aboard at first for the Kenai Twins. You can imagine with both of these high schools that make up the Twins making the state championship, I don't know if I would call them sneaky, as I would just call them good. When you start making the state title game, and then you make up a Legion squad out of those two teams, I'd say that's not sneaky. That is just plain good. As Glidden will take a look over at Stephenson before delivering the 0-1 pitch to Brophy. Brophy's reached base twice today, once on a single in the first, and once on an error in the third. Here's the 0-1 pitch. It's a line drive into center field and a base hit. Gets down in front of Price. And now there are 2 men on, still with 2 men out for Matt Schilling as Stevenson advances to second base. Schilling is 0 for 1 today. He reached on a fielder's choice in the first, and he walked and collected an RBI on that walk in the third inning. As Glidden takes a deep breath before coming in and delivering the pitch to Schilling. Here's the offering. It's a curveball that starts way off the plate and loops back in around just hugging the outside corner. A nice pitch to get ahead by Hunter Glidden. And Schilling, batting from the left side, takes a step closer to the box, or to the plate rather. His foot is on the line for the batter's box. That pitch misses outside. The count is 1-1. Schilling and then Stuyvesant due up next for Kenai if the inning continues. Go-ahead run in scoring position for the Twins. Here's the 1-1 pitch. It's a line drive right back to Glidden. Ricochets off of him. Shively comes up with it, but he's not going to be able to make a throw in time. And a single for Matt Schilling will advance Stephenson to third, Brophy to second, and of course Schilling aboard at first. Want to make sure that Glidden's okay. He took a line drive right to the midsection there, but doesn't seem to be bothering him too much. I think he might have gotten his glove in the way of it, or maybe the heel of his glove or something. I don't think he took the brunt of that line drive, but well, I can tell you it still didn't feel great. Here's Jaden Stuyvesant with the bases loaded. He's 0 for 1 today as he bounces one out to Safford at third. Safford up with it, throw on to first is a strong throw that's in time, and that will end the inning. The Twins tie us at 3, but they leave the bases loaded as we go to the bottom half of the fourth inning next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
At MyBasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
the pace and reach of social media,
the information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
MyBasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
It's the bottom of the fourth inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on MyBasin.com. Tied up at 3 between the Klamath Falls Falcons and the Kenai Twins at the Alaska 529 Midseason Classic here in Anchorage, Alaska. Before we get started here in the bottom of the fourth inning, want to again highlight Heartfelt OBGYN and the Eisler Group in Klamath Falls as our tournament broadcast sponsors this week. Wouldn't be able to do it without them. So big thanks to Heartfelt OBGYN and the Eisler Group in Klamath Falls. As the first pitch to P.J. Safford is a check swing, and they say he went around, so Safford falls behind the count 0-1. Here's the pitch. That one misses upstairs. The count is even now, and a ball is a strike to Safford. 1 for 1, he walked earlier in this contest as he came around to score as well in that instance. That was back in the second inning. The 1-1 is a line drive into center field. There's a base hit for Safford, and he gets on to lead off the fourth inning. See if that's a way out of the slump for Safford as the Falcons cheering him on. Well, they know all it takes sometimes is one to break out of a slump. Hoping it's that one for PJ. His bat in the middle of the lineup can be invaluable. Here's Ian Meyer, who's not a guy who racks up the base hits. Like I said, he just does his job. He's just steady back there as he's already laid down one sacrifice bunt today. It's a move over to check on Safford. He dives back safely. After Meyer, it's Corbin Hamilton for the Klamath Falls Falcons. Pitch to Meyer, misses high and in. The count is 1-0. Klamath Falls, like I said, have already booked their ticket to the bracket play in a semifinal tomorrow with a chance at a championship game as Meyer lifts a high fly ball to shallow center field. Schilling in, makes the catch on the run for the first out in the fourth inning. All is to say the Falcons are hoping to become only the second team from Oregon ever to win the Alaska 529 Midseason Classic. It's still a ways off. You're going to continue to try to get your top spot in your pool by defeating Kenai here. You got to go through a semifinal before you even get to the championship game. But it was in 2023 in which Eugene beat Eagle River 4-1 in that championship game. Now, for Kenai, they are still looking for their very first 529 Midseason Classic Tournament Championship. As the pitch is on the way, misses inside. The count is 1-0 to Hamilton. They have made the championship game once, and that was back in 2016. They lost to Columbia of Tennessee 7-1. Though that's the only time in this tournament's near 30-year history that Kenai has made the title game. P.J. Safford takes off for second, and then Corbin Hamilton rolls a single through the left side of the infield with the shortstop going to cover second. A beautifully executed hit and run for the Klamath Falls Falcons. Gets two men on with one man out for Carson Pimley. Safford stands at second, and Hamilton now 2 for 2 with a couple of singles, stands over there at first. Pimley went down looking on strikes in his first at-bat in the second inning. And now looking to give his team a lead in the middle part of this ball game. Again, tied up at 3 in the bottom of the fourth. Here's the delivery. Pimley swings and misses at an off-speed pitch, falls behind 0-1. Coming into this contest, Carson Pimley hitting .273 and 7 RBI for him. Again, not a ton of RBI opportunity for Pimley so far this summer as he awaits the 0-1 pitch. Fouls it straight back. The count is 0-2. Pimley, with runners on base this year, is 5 for 13, hitting .385 in such instances. As he pops one up behind home plate, Miller's going to give chase, but that one will eventually drift out of play, and the count is 0-2. After Carson Pimley, it's Carson Sims who waits on deck for the Falcons. Deep breath taken by Peterson, takes a look around him, spots the runners, and delivers to Pimley, who lifts a towering fly ball in the infield. It's put away by the catcher Peterson, who comes off the mound to make the catch for the second out in the fourth inning. This will bring up Carson Sims, who went down swinging on strikes in the second inning. Hoping to right the ship here and try to give his team a lead. P.J. Safford out at second. Corbin Hamilton aboard at first. 2 outs, bottom of the fourth inning in a tie ball game. 3-3 as the Falcons challenge the Kenai Twins here in Anchorage, Alaska. Sims takes a look at a pitch that dips below the zone. The count is 1-0 to him. Well, Sims, with runners in scoring position, is batting .647 this year. That pitch misses outside. No, found the zone. Looked off the plate, but called a strike. The count is 1-1 to Sims. And just normally at the plate, Sims is off to a torrid start this summer. Through now 19 games, bats .511 as a pitch in the turf. Kicks away from the catcher Miller. Just enough time to allow both men to advance. Safford with a good read on things to advance to third. And Hamilton following his running mate out there. He is also in scoring position in a 2-1 count to Carson Sims with 2 men in scoring position and Max Price on deck. Now a base hit could add some insurance for the Falcons as Peterson comes set and delivers the pitch. Sims, line drive into left field. A diving catch by the left fielder Stephenson. Stealing a run and maybe 2 by the Klamath Falls Falcons. What a catch in left, and that is how we end the fourth inning. We'll go to the top half of the fifth, tied at 3 on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
We drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see two things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the two memories that stick out the most to me.
Welcome back at the top of the fifth inning in a ball game tied at 3 on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com. It'll be 5, 6, and 7 in the Kenai order due up this half. That's Jacob Jonas, Gavin Peterson, and Jackson Kaditz still working against Hunter Glidden out there on the hill for the Falcons. He's thrown well since coming into the game a little while ago. He's through an inning and 2/3. He's given up a run. He struck out one, but he's been steady so far and throwing about what you'd expect for Glidden coming into the game here. The young arm just wrapped up his freshman year at Henley during the springtime and now pitching in a big spot in the final game of group play at the Alaska 529 Midseason Classic. 1-0 pitch from Glidden into Jonas is a slider that graces the outer third, and the count is even now 1-1. Pitching, of course, is going to be the ticket to trying to win a tournament here in Anchorage as that pitch bounces to the plate. The count is 2-1. You look at the previous 3 tournament winners, and including the runner-up team in 2024. No, he didn't even make the runner-up in 2024. Kenai had a team ERA last year of 1.68 in the tournament and did not make the championship game. The other teams who won it in 2024 was Napoleon, who had a team ERA of 1.36. Eugene in 2023 had an ERA of 1.13. And in 2022, Napoleon had a 1.65 ERA. As a ground ball back up the middle, Jonas is aboard with a base hit to start the fifth inning for the Kenai Twins. This will bring up Gavin Peterson. Now, the best team ERA ever at this tournament was Columbia of Tennessee, who had a team ERA of 1.0 in 2014. And in 2014, of course, they would go on to win that tournament. The pitcher lays down a sacrifice bunt. Throw on to first is in time. An underhand toss from Glidden to Hamilton. But, of course, a runner advancing to second base in the meantime. Jonas in scoring position after the sacrifice from Peterson. And that will bring up Jackson Kaditz. Kaditz flew out in the second, singled and scored in the fourth. Falcons pitcher delivers. Glidden, the line drive into center field. Price is going to field it. It hops over his head. He overran it. That's going to score a run. Kaditz rounding second, now headed for third. And he is going to get in there standing. Price was coming in looking to play that ball hard, and it just completely bounced over him. As Jonas came in to score, giving Kenai a 4-3 lead. And now standing at third is Jackson Kaditz. It looks like they charged the Falcons. No error for the Falcons there. Would have been confused if it was, but no error. And here's the pitch. It's a slider that misses away. The count is 1-0 to Ari Miller, who has walked and hit a sacrifice bunt earlier in the game. When he walked in the third, he came around to score. The 1-0 pitch is taken upstairs. The count is 2-0. Just an unfortunate bounce there for the Falcons on that previous play, but got to do the best you can to shake it off and continue on. Here's the 2-0 pitch. It is in the zone, and the count is 2-1. Looked to be a fastball, about letter high, and Glidden got across for the strike. No movement in the Falcons bullpen. Like I said, today might be a pitch by committee sort of situation, but they are riding the right hand of Hunter Glidden as a fly ball behind first base is caught by Hamilton on the run. Nice play in foul territory to record the second out in the fifth inning. A pinch hitter in for Kenai. It's going to be Jack Harper, class of 2026, batting from the right side. Harper stands 5'10" and 140 pounds at the right-handed batter's box. Here's the pitch. It's a curveball from Glidden. It's a nice location on the inside corner, but it dips below the zone. And the count is 1-0 to Harper. Here's the pitch. Glidden that time finds the outside part of the zone with a fastball and evens the count to Harper. Lineup turns over next for Kenai with Daniel Stephenson on deck. Glidden with the 1-1. Here's the pitch. That one's hit foul. The count is 1-2 to Harper. See if Harper takes over at second base for Clemens. That's where he was playing on defense, or if there's any other changes coming down the pipeline for the Kenai Twins. As Glidden looks in, gets the sign for the 1-2 pitch, and here it comes from Glidden. That one misses well outside, and the count is now even at 2-2 strikes. Second game of the day here at the 529 Midseason Classic. Later on, we'll see Service play West Anchorage and Diamond play Madisonville. Those are two games to wrap up Pool A. The other side of the tournament. South Anchorage is the only team that has for certain been mathematically eliminated in this tournament, as that pitch must have missed outside, and the count runs full. It was about belt high. It looked from my angle that it caught a part of the plate, but instead now the count is full to Harper. And here comes the pitch from Glidden. Swing and a miss, and you leave a runner stranded at third. A big punch out there for Glidden. But again, Kenai does take the lead. They're up 4-3 off a couple of base hits. They leave a man stranded in the inning. The Falcons will try to respond next in the bottom half of the fifth on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Time to reclaim your health and your autonomy. At Heartfelt OBGYN, they focus on you. Their evidence-based approach to care means fewer office visits and a targeted treatment plan to directly address your specific needs. They believe in solutions for their patients, not the industry's profit margin. The providers at Heartfelt OBGYN are committed to serving the community and giving back to the basin. Find them at heartfeltobgyn.com. Heartfelt, because you deserve to be in control of your body and your informed choices.
At Eisler Group, they are confident that their tax and accounting professionals are experienced and trained like no one else. From individual, corporate, partnership, estate, trust, Eisler Group stands ready to help you with all of your financial, tax, and accounting needs. They have been in Klamath Falls for nearly 60 years, raising their families here and being part of the community. The Eisler Group can be found at EislerKF.com. That's ISLERKF.com. EislerKF.com.
Josh Eldridge, glad to be with you on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on MyBasin.com. In the bottom of the fifth inning, the Klamath Falls Falcons trail the Kenai Twins in the final game of group play for both teams at the Alaska 529 Midseason Classic here in Anchorage. Max Price leading things off against Gavin Peterson. Looked to be showing bunt to try to lead off the inning, but that pitch misses high. The count is 1-0. Oh, by the way, we did find out that Jackson Harper is staying in the game at second base, so a defensive replacement there for Kenai, although that's the only replacement, at least that I can tell. So Harper out there in the infield with Jonas at third, Brophy at second, and Stuyvesant at first. Right now the count is 2-0 to Price. And he sends a line drive into left field and a leadoff single for Max Price here in the bottom of the fifth inning. Price now 2 for 3 today. He also singled in the third, so just add that one to the ledger today. Shively still looking for his first base hit, although a sacrifice fly and an RBI in the third is certainly still something to be proud of. Shively batting from the left side. The Falcons trail by a single run in the bottom of the fifth inning. Set is Peterson and the delivery. Price takes off to second. They do a pitch out to try to get him, but the throw from behind the plate was off the mark, and it allows Price to get in safely to second. And now the team lead in RBI has a chance to tie the game here in this one. Connor Shively on the season at 29 RBI, sends a fly ball to right field. That one is caught by the right fielder, Koditz. Won't be able to pick up another here as the first out in the fifth inning. Now we'll go to Jacoby Tacchini. Tacchini's 1 for 2 in this contest. He flew out to left field in the first, and he singled in the third. An RBI opportunity here for him on the season. Jacoby Tacchini with 17 RBI as that pitch nearly came in and hit him. The count is 1-0. During the prep season, he led the Henley Hornets in RBI. So he's certainly no stranger to these spots as the 1-0 pitch will have to wait as Peterson steps off, throws over to second, but not going to be able to apply the tag to Max Price. He is back in safely. This season with runners on, Jacoby Tacchini batting .297. The pitch misses high. Price is on the move to third, and they got him by a few steps. And that will eliminate the base runner in the inning. And now there are 2 away in a 2-0 count. As Coach Teeters was trying to be real aggressive out there on the base paths. Or maybe a missed sign as Teeters was saying something to Price as he walked back to the dugout. Regardless, there are now 2 away in the inning and nobody on as that pitch misses low to Tacchini. He is ahead in the count 3-0 with Colin Tacchini on deck. Falcons trail 4-3 in the bottom of the fifth. Pitch on its way. That one is letter high over the middle of the plate in the zone for a strike. 3-1 to Jacoby Tacchini. Well, now you throw all those other stats out the window with the runners on, and how many RBIs do you have? Now you're just looking to get on base. He lifts one in the air to right field. Backpedaling is Koditz, but he will settle underneath it to make the catch for the third out. Despite picking up a base hit in the inning, the Falcons down in order. And we'll go to the top of the sixth as Klamath Falls trails Kenai 4-3. The Alaska 529 Midseason Classic on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom.
On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate.
It's the top of the sixth inning, and the Klamath Falls Falcons trail the Kenai Twins 4-3. The Alaska 529 Midseason Classic on mybasin.com, and want to once again recognize our tournament broadcast sponsors here, whether you're listening on the radio or watching our free video on mybasin.com. Couldn't have done it without the folks at Heartfelt OBGYN or the Eisler Group in Klamath Falls. Both of those groups stepping up in the final moments before we left for the trip and saying we want to sponsor the trip. And so, again, without them, wouldn't have been able to do this. So big thanks to the Eisler Group and Heartfelt back in Klamath Falls. They've decided to join us for the entire rest of the summer of Falcons baseball as well. Now, reminder that the season for the Falcons does not end here in Anchorage. Still plenty of more league games to go for the Klamath Falls Falcons. As we get back to town on June 30th, that's a travel day for the Falcons, back in action on July 1st against the Grants Pass Diggers. And that'll be a league doubleheader at Kiger Stadium on July 1st. As the first pitch from Hunter Glidden misses downstairs, the count is 1-0 to Daniel Stephenson, who is 1 for 2 with an RBI today. He picked up his RBI on a single back in the 4th inning, and here he'll pick up another single, another line drive to Max Price. That one almost bumped over his head too, and the count will be fresh to Jet Brophy. Now, not sure if this has much to do with what's happened to Price out there in center. Usually is a sure thing, not going to overplay that ball. The Falcons, did not get much time to take infield and outfield in between games, with the 2-hour 15 time limit being invoked in the opener today between Kenai and Chugiak, and actually going a little over as well, as the bunt attempt is popped up and caught by the catcher Takini from Brophy, and he'll go down as the first out in the 6th inning. One away for Matt Schilling, and they had to do it real quick. I mean, they didn't really get to play catch either. It was, all right, Chugiak got off the field out of the dugout. Coach Teeters walked out with the fungo bat, said, all right, guys, take your positions. Let's take in and out. Did it real quick, and then we were off and running for baseball. The pitch is called a strike, and on the move was Daniel Stephenson. Nobody covered the bag for the Falcons. Takini and Shively both pointing at each other, but neither one of them covering the bag there, and so Stephenson is in scoring position with one away. Schilling singled back in the 4th inning. He's reached base 3 times today, once also on a fielder's choice in the 1st, and he also walked in the 3rd. Right now the count is a ball and a strike to Schilling. We've talked a little bit about the Klamath Falls Falcons' place in the record books here at the Midseason Classic. They've only got one name in the record books, as here's a pop-up to third base. Safford going to call everyone off, put that one away for the 2nd out. It's Brian Kinsman, by the way, who's the only player in tournament history to ever hit for the cycle. That was back in the year 2000. Not sure if Mr. Kinsman is back home listening, but yeah, he's the only Falcons player in the record books for the only time the Falcons have been here in Anchorage. But a couple of instances in which Kenai is in the record books here at the Midseason Classic, as the pitch is a ground ball to third. Might have to hold this thought. Safford, a sliding stop, bobbles it on the transfer, recovers and makes the throw. Safford stuck with it all the way, and a sliding stop is what started that play. We'll put this thought on pause. I do want to talk about Kenai more in a second, as the Falcons trail 4-3 going to the bottom of the 6th. We'll see the middle of their order trying to start a rally next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
the pace and reach of social media,
the information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
mybasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
It's the bottom of the 6th inning, and the Klamath Falls Falcons trail the Kenai Twins 4-3. It'll be Colin Takini, P.J. Safford, and Ian Meyer due up this half for the Falcons, 4, 5, 6 in their order, as they look to get a rally started against Gavin Peterson, who's been throwing well so far for Kenai. It's been 2 scoreless innings in a row against the Falcons. Checking the line score for Peterson. 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned. He's walked 1 and struck out 2. He begins the at-bat against Colin Takini with the ball 1-0. Was starting to begin a train of thought about Kenai's tournament history here at the 529 Midseason Classic as Takini takes that pitch low, 2-0. Couple of spots there in the record books. For me, the one that stood out was that they played in a game that had the most combined runs in tournament history as Takini takes that pitch high, 3-0. Take you back to 1996 when a game had 33 runs scored. Kenai lost that game 19-14 against Compton from California. 3-0 finds the zone. Count is 3-1. One other instance I could find with Kenai in the record books was in 2003. As the 3-1 pitch dips below the zone, Takini earns a walk to lead off the inning. Gentleman by the name of Robbie Ronseville, I hope I'm saying your last name right, Robbie. He had 3 doubles in a game in 2003. That ties the tournament record with a guy named Ryan Davis from Gig Harbor, Washington, and Sean Ratliff from Boulder, Colorado. But there you are, some men in the record books for Kenai. And we'll take a look at P.J. Safford, but first a move over to Takini at first. Safford made a splendid defensive play at third to get the Falcons out of the last half inning. A sliding stop moving towards the foul line. Came up with it. He kind of bobbled it on the transfer to his throwing arm as Safford sends a ground ball out towards short. They won't be able to get to as Colin Takini was on the move to second before the pitch left the pitcher's hand. So it'll just be a 6-3 putout, and Safford is down as the first out in the inning. Trying to go for a little hit-and-run action there. Didn't pan out exactly as they'd hoped. But you still have a runner in scoring position with 1 out for Ian Meyer. Meyer is 0 for 1 today. Sends another sharp ground ball to short. Brophy plays it on a single hop. Throw on to first is there. Back-to-back 6-3 putouts. But Colin Takini did advance to second on that play. And the count, and there's now 2 away in the bottom of the 6th inning. Here you get Corbin Hamilton, who is 2 for 2 today. Hamilton also had 2 RBIs on his single in the 2nd inning. Pitch on the way. Will miss outside, and the count is 1-0. Quite an extensive record book here for the midseason classic, and it's been going on since 1995 as Hamilton takes that pitch outside 2-0. I got to say, the most remarkable record for me in this tournament was a guy named Willie Paul in 2007. Best batting average in tournament history through 4 games, hit .889. 889. That is just incredible. Willie Paul's also in this book in a couple of different places as well. Most notably, he's the current head coach for the Service Legion team and is in charge of, partially in charge of Alaska Legion Baseball, the group that coordinates all this stuff. As the 3-0 pitch misses down and in, and will be a walk to Corbin Hamilton, bringing up Carson Pimley. Now, Service is in Pool A. They are 1-1. They'll play next against West Anchorage. And that'll be an important game for both of those teams. West Anchorage is 1-0-1. So, like I said, in a points system in the standings at the 529 Midseason Classic, where you get 4 points for a win, 2 points for a tie, and none for a loss. West Anchorage has 6 points. Service has 4. So that head-to-head matchup is very reminiscent of what we've going on right now between the Falcons and Kenai, where Kenai is trying to win this game to secure their spot in the bracket. Klamath Falls has already secured their spot in the bracket. And the pitch will miss low, and on the move is Corbin Hamilton, who's now in scoring position for Carson Pimley. And we're going to have a meeting out on the mound for the Kenai head coach. It looks like they are going to be making a change as Rob Quelland comes out of the dugout, assisted by Ken Gibson, Gary Oliver, and Jesse Dawkins, the Kenai Twins are making a change with 2 men in scoring position and 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th inning. They lead the Klamath Falls Falcons 4-3. We'll step aside, let the new arm get some time to warm up. Back after this on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
We drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see 2 things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the 2 memories that stick out the most to me.
Josh Eldridge welcoming you back on 104.3 960 Sports and MyBasin.com. A new arm out there for Kenai, and we'll get you the other changes in just a moment. It's Jaden Stuyvesant. Not the first time that he's pitched today. He pitched in the tie in which Kenai was knotted up with Chugiak a little bit earlier today. His first task will be Carson Pimley with the go-ahead run in scoring position, and the count is 2-0. Now to Pimley, who's 0 for 2 in the contest. Struck out in the second, and he flew out in the 4th. Standing at third is Colin Takini. Corbin Hamilton is at second. Takini is the tying run at third. Hamilton would be the go-ahead run out there, also in scoring position. A 4-3 ball game, and with 2 outs in the inning, coming down to Carson Pimley right here. The pitch from Stuyvesant is hit in the air towards center field. Over is the center fielder. He'll put it away, and that will be the inning. The Falcons will leave 2 men stranded in scoring position, and they trail by a run heading to the 7th on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Pacific Power works day in and day out to power our communities because we know our neighbors rely on us. We're trimming and clearing branches around poles and lines, protecting our system, and giving you real-time updates when storms roll in. You can count on us in all seasons. 24/7, we're here for you. Powering your greatness.
Hunter Glidden out there still working into the top of the 7th inning for the Klamath Falls Falcons, as he'll hope to keep it a 1-run ball game in this inning. It'll be Jacob Jonas along with Gavin Peterson and Jackson Cadence do up this half for the Kenai Twins. Jonas is 1 for 3 today. He singled in the 5th, and he will take a look at ball 1 as it misses high here. So that is how we start the 7th inning. Glidden working out of the stretch. Here's the pitch, and that one is in the zone as well. Inside corner, about knee high on a fastball. The count is even now, a ball and a strike to Jonas, the third baseman for Kenai. The 1-1 pitch is a curve ball broken off well by Glidden. Started out of the zone and then just dipped back into the zone. The count is 1-2 now to Jonas as Glidden looks to put him away to start the 7th. Here's the pitch. Goes fastball, misses upstairs. Count now 2-2. Glidden has been working well so far, coming in relief of Douglas a while ago. Glidden has pitched 3 2/3 innings already. Curveball just misses inside. Another location, good choice there by Glidden, similar to how he found the first strike of this at-bat, but that one missing just enough off the inside part of the plate to run the count full. Here's the 3-2 from Glidden. Fastball down Main Street. Strike 3 called against Jonas, and that is how we'll start the 7th inning. And again, apologize on mybasin.com. Having the same issue I was earlier with the camera overheating a tad bit. I'll try to get that back up for you in the next couple of minutes. Hopefully won't have to wait until the next half inning to get it back up and running for you. As Peterson steps in and takes a pitch high. The count is 1-0 to Peterson, who's 0 for 3 today. He struck out in the second. He flew out in the third and grounded out in the fifth. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Misses high. The count is 2-0. As Jackson Kaditz is on deck. Pitch on the way from Glidden is going to be off the inside corner, and it misses. It was Peterson who checked his swing and did so in time. The count is 3-0. Glidden delivers, and that one right over the middle. Probably taking all the way, I would imagine, that time from Peterson, and the count is 3-1. Infield playing back on the cut of the grass. The outfield in a couple of steps as Glidden finds the lower third of the zone. It was right over the middle of the plate, right around the knees to Peterson. He thought it was ball 4, but instead, now the count is full. Here's the pitch from Glidden, inside fastball. That one did miss. And a 1-out walk delivered to Peterson. We'll bring up Jackson Kaditz, who started the game in right field, has since moved over to patrol center after the most recent pitching change for Kenai. When we get back to the bottom half of the 7th, we'll give you all the defensive changes, but Kaditz is 2 for 3 as Glidden tries to go with the breaking pitch outside but misses. The count is 1-0. Kaditz flew out in the second, but since then he's singled in the fourth and scored. And he also tripled and had an RBI in the 5th inning. Here he goes the opposite way and is able to get a ground ball into right field for a single. As Peterson advances to second, and Kaditz is aboard at first. It'll bring up Ari Miller. Miller getting a chance to swing here with 2 men on and 1 out. Still looking for his first hit is Miller. He walked in the 3rd, grounded out in the 4th, and flew out in the 5th. As Coach Craig Connor comes on out of the dugout to have a chat with Hunter Glidden. And as he does, I want to remind you once again that our broadcast here on mybasin.com and 104.3 is brought to you by Heartfelt OBGYN in Klamath Falls and by the Eisler Group. Without those folks, wouldn't have been able to make this broadcast happen. And truth be told, asked them pretty late in the game to come aboard. And without hesitation, they both wanted to support the broadcasts and make sure that we were able to get on the air and bring this broadcast to you for free in the place where you normally find it and with the voice that is normally behind the camera. So thank you for choosing me. And glad to be with you today and all week long from the great state of Alaska. It's been a great tour and a great opportunity for the Falcons. They've had tons of wonderful experiences. It's been great for me here in Anchorage as well. I'm so glad I got to experience it. And even beside from just sponsoring the broadcasts, offering a thank you to those folks who sponsored my trip to get here into Alaska. The first pitch is on the way to Ari Miller. Is called a strike. The count is 0-1. A big spot here for Hunter Glidden. They keep him in the ball game. The young right-hander from Henley High School. Upcoming sophomore in a big spot. Here's the 0-1 pitch. It's taken high, 1-1. These are the instances where you get better as a player. You learn what you can do, and that's what the Legion season is about. It's improving and getting better. Game after game, pitch after pitch, and bring that into the prep season. Here's the 1-1 from Glidden. It's fisted foul. The count is 1-2. I think the Falcons might have learned that lesson a little bit harder than they would have liked last season. It was a struggle in terms of the win-loss record for the Falcons a season ago, but I can tell you everyone got better through the struggle. And, well, now here they are. Glidden in a position where maybe you'd classify this as him struggling, now trying to work out of it in the 7th inning. The 1-2 finds the outside corner slider. And down goes Miller looking for the second out this inning, second strikeout in the 7th. And that is what you're worth, Hunter Glidden. Got to get one more, though. Re-entering the game is Clyde Clements, the left-handed hitter. He was out for Harper in the last at-bat, but now gets a chance to step back in. He's 0 for 2, though, with a couple of strikeouts. Again, who he hits for is Jack Harper, who struck out in his lone at-bat as well. Got to imagine Clements is going to re-enter the game at second base, too, just as he exited it a while ago. All right, ready to go. Glidden trying to keep this a one-run ball game. First pitch on the way to Clements is hit foul down the left side. Count is 0-1. If you're curious who's due up for the Falcons in the next half inning, it'll be Carson Sims, Max Price, and Connor Shively to try to start the rally to get the Falcons back into this one. Pitch on the way. Here it is. That one is going to miss inside and kick off the mask of Takini. A big turnaround third, but Peterson's going to stay there as both runners advance, and the count is now 1-1. No wiggle room anymore out there on the mound for Glidden. For Clements, you just have to go right after him. This is the at-bat that matters. The 1-1 is going to miss high, 2-1. Peterson reached on a walk. Kaditz singled earlier in the inning. Both of those men are out on base as the 2-1, knee-high outside corner, strike 2. Glidden's going to have to really dig in this 2-strike pitch to leave them stranded and keep the Falcons within reach. Takini gives the signal. The 2-2 looked at for ball 3. Now, first base is open, so a walk here is not the end of days, but top of the lineup due up next for Kenai with Daniel Stephenson. Glidden doesn't want to worry about Stephenson, though. He's going to go right after Clemens. Here's the pitch. Fouled off. We'll do it again. 3-2. Clemens quickly back in the left-handed batter's box. Swings his bat around. Chokes up. No batting gloves for Clemens. The scrappy young ball player for Kenai is trying to get the best of Glidden in this at-bat just as much as Glidden is trying to set him down. The 3-2 misses low, and that's how that battle will end, with a walk, and aboard is Clements. Bases remain loaded, and here is Daniel Stephenson with a chance to make a big difference in this ball game. Today, he is 2 for 3 in this one. He has an RBI back in the 4th inning. Now hits with the bases loaded. Glidden looks in and comes set. Here's the pitch. It's a curveball, dips beneath the zone. The count is 1-0. In the game earlier today in which Kenai tied with Chugiak 5-5, Stephenson was hitless, 0 for 5 with a strikeout. He's already made his mark today. He's looking for more. The 1-0 pitch from Glidden. Fouled back. The count is 1-1. On deck is Jet Brophy if the inning continues. The right-hander Stephenson settles in. Slouches in the right-handed batter's box. Here's the 1-1. A nice curveball from Glidden. Catches the inside corner. 1-2. He's gone front door with that breaking ball a number of times now. That time he uses it to get ahead. Now looking for the put-away pitch against Stephenson. Glidden comes set. Kicks. Fires. Curveball fouled off. And we'll do it again. 1-2 to Stephenson. Big-time battle brewing in a big-time spot late in the game. Glidden takes a deep breath before coming set. agreeing with Takini, who gives the target outside. A slider is a ground ball hit out to short. Shively is up with it. Rockets the throw to first in time, and the Falcons leave them loaded in the 7th inning. They only trail by a run and a chance to tie or go for the walk-off victory in the bottom half of the 7th next. We'll be with you on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account to retirement planning and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
It's the bottom of the 7th inning, and the Klamath Falls Falcons looking to close out this one in Alaska with a walk-off winner. First, they've got to tie it down by the run. Carson Sims, Max Price, and Connor Shively do up this half inning for the Klamath Falls Falcons. Sims today is 0 for 2. He struck out in the 2nd, flew out in the 4th, and the first pitch is in the turf, 1-0. Stuyvesant still out there on the hill for Kenai. He was replaced at first by Schilling. Schilling was replaced in center by Kaditz. And Kaditz was replaced in right by the former pitcher Gavin Peterson. The count is a ball and a strike after Sims rattles that one foul. Count is even. Sims second on the team in hitting. The right guy you want to lead off the inning. The home plate umpire goes and will walk the ball out to the pitcher, trying to give the catcher a little bit of room to breathe. I think that foul ball must have caught Miller somewhere. Looked like maybe the midsection. That's where he's holding, is around his chest guard. But gives the thumbs up to the dugout. Looks like he's ready to play out there. Home plate umpire maybe giving a little bit of hard time, but that's all right. All in good fun. Here we go. Count is a ball and a strike to Carson Sims. Takes that one in the zone for a strike. 1-2. Looked like the bender from Stuyvesant. I think Sims thought it was a little bit low. It was over the plate, no doubt, but now Sims will have to battle. Spreads out the stance in the 2-strike count. Here's the pitch. Sims rolls a ground ball to third. Up with it is Jonas. Throw to first. Takes the first baseman off the bag. Sims is rounding first. He's headed for second. He dives in safely. Tying run in scoring position on the throwing error from Jonas. It was a good attempt by Schilling on the stretch, but it took his foot off the bag, and then he couldn't bring it in cleanly. And as it rattled down the right field line, Sims got to second. In scoring position for Max Price. Today, Price is 2 for 3. Flew out in the first. He has since singled twice in the 3rd and 5th innings. Here he shows bunt. Lays it down right in front of the pitcher. Stuyvesant's throw onto first is in time, but the tying run now stands at 3rd for Connor Shively on the sacrifice by Max Price. And here's Connor Shively, the team's leading hitter, looking for his first hit in this contest. He grounded out in the 1st and flew out in the 5th, although he did add an RBI on a sacrifice fly in the 3rd. First pitch to Shively. First pitch, swing and fly ball, left side, foul. And the count is 0-1 to Shively. On deck is Jacoby Takini for the Klamath Falls Falcons. Shively, not only the team's leading hitter, the team leader in RBI, 29 runs batted in this summer as he takes a pitch high and away there. The count is 1-1. Right guy in the right spot for Connor Shively. The pitch from Stuyvesant is hit in the air, center field, base hit. We are tied in the bottom of the 7th inning. An RBI single from Connor Shively ties us at 4. Big-time knock in a big-time spot and a big-time player. It's Connor Shively bringing up Jacoby Takini. Now we'll see how aggressive we wind up getting with Shively over there at first. Coach Sean Teeters offering up the signs as Jacoby settles in. Jacoby is 1 for 3 today. He's flown out twice and he's singled once. Came back in the 3rd inning. First pitch to Takini is a slider that's in the turf and gets away from the catcher. Miller advancing to second as the game's winning run, Connor Shively. Now a base hit could end things in the bottom of the 7th inning for Jacoby Takini, batting .288 this summer for the Klamath Falls Falcons. He's got 18 RBI on the summer, and he takes ball 2. Count is 2-0 to Takini. If he can't get it done with a base hit here, it'll be Colin Takini who waits on deck. Pitch from Stuyvesant is hit in the air, right side foul. The count is 2-1. Jacoby trying to battle up there. Settles back in for the 2-1. Stuyvesant thought he just came set twice, but he didn't. Here's the 2-1. It misses upstairs, 3-1. I don't know. It looked like Stuyvesant might have gotten away with the balk there, unless I'm misunderstanding what his motion was out there. It looked like he took 2 steps to come together, but regardless, the count is 3-1 to Takini. The pitch is wrapped down the third baseline, foul. Count is full as Coach Sean Teeters had to bend out of the way of that one. And a full count to Jacoby at the plate. Falcons trying to become the only team in the tournament to go 3-0 in group play. Timeout called. Oh, gotta wait for the ball to be fielded down there in foul territory. Takini back in. Here's the pitch. Takini lifts one in the air, right side behind first. That one is going to be caught by the first baseman, Schilling, for the second out in the 7th inning. 2 away, and the winning run is in scoring position. And here comes Colin Takini, man who's done it many times before. The lone Lakeview honker looking to come up for the Klamath County squad. Takini today is 1 for 2. He singled in the 2nd, grounded out in the 3rd. He walked in the 6th. Second baseman Harper's going to move over to second, and they throw over to him to check on Shively, trying to keep him honest out there. He had a pretty aggressive lead out there off the second base bag. But now Stuyvesant delivers to Takini. He fouls off the first pitch he sees. The count is 0-1. Remember, a tie here does benefit the Falcons as well. Kenai has to beat them to knock them off of the top spot in Pool B. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Misses low and in. The count is 1-1. If the inning continues without that run scoring, P.J. Safford is on deck for the Falcons. The 1-1 pitch to Takini misses upstairs. The count is 2-1. Right-handed hitter Colin Takini settling in. Takini stands 5'10" as he fouls that one off. The count is 2-2. Stuyvesant trying to wiggle out of this jam. Already 1 run has come across in this inning to tie it. That was Sims who reached on the error. Shively had the RBI. He stands at second. The 2-2 pitch to Takini is looked at for strike 3. A slider outside will end the inning. But the Falcons do tie it, and we'll be going to the 8th on 104.3 and 960 Sports. And
Wait, all I do is wait. So
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coldwell Banker, where home begins.
It's the top of the 8th inning. We've got free baseball at the Alaska 529 Midseason Classic on 104.3 and 960 Sports. Hunter Glidden still dealing out there for the Falcons. He'll have to go through 2, 3, and 4 in this inning. First pitch swinging and a high fly ball to left field is caught by the left fielder Pimley, and that's how he gets started in the 8th inning. Down goes Jet Brophy. In steps Matt Schilling. Schilling 1 for 3 today, but he's reached base 3 times. He reached on a fielder's choice in the first, walked in the third, actually added an RBI on that walk when he earned it with the bases loaded, and he singled in the fourth, and he flew out in the sixth. Glidden bounces the first pitch of the at-bat to the plate, and so Schilling is ahead 1-0, and here comes the second offering from Glidden. The fastball misses wide, and the count is 2-0. So we begin extra innings, 4 runs, 9 hits, 3 errors for Kenai, 4 runs, 8 hits, and 1 error for Klamath Falls. And it's a nice off-speed pitch. Found the outside portion of the zone about knee-high to Schilling, and the count is 2 balls and a strike. Here comes Glidden. That one misses wide. Takini tried to frame it up nicely for the home plate umpire, but no dice. The count 3-1 with 1 out in the top of the 8th inning of a tie ball game. Here comes the pitch. Hit in the air left field again. Pimley on the run will make the catch for the second out in the 8th inning. First one was a high fly ball. Pimley had time to react. That one a little bit less so, but still able to make the play. And in comes the pitcher, Jaden Stuyvesant. Stuyvesant in the ball game looking for his first hit. He has struck out, walked, and grounded out twice. Here's the first offering from Glidden. Popped up behind home plate, playable. Takini has room, puts it away for the out, and the Twins down in order in the 8th. Falcons, a chance to win it next as we go to the bottom half, tied at 4 on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
To reclaim your health and your autonomy. At Heartfelt OBGYN, they focus on you. Their evidence-based approach to care means fewer office visits and a targeted treatment plan to directly address your specific needs. They believe in solutions for their patients, not the industry's profit margin. The providers at Heartfelt OBGYN are committed to serving the community and giving back to the basin. Find them at heartfeltobgyn.com. Heartfelt, because you deserve to be in control of your body and your informed choices.
At Eisler Group, they are confident that their tax and accounting professionals are experienced and trained like no one else. From individual, corporate, partnership, estate, trust, Eisler Group stands ready to help you with all of your financial, tax, and accounting needs. They have been in Klamath Falls for nearly 60 years, raising their families here and being part of the community. The Eisler Group can be found at eislerkf.com. That's ISLERKF.com. eislerkf.com.
P.J. Safford leading things off in the bottom of the 8th inning for the Klamath Falls Falcons. The at-bat will start with the pitch in the turf. The count 1-0 to Safford, who's 1 for 2 today. He walked in the second, singled in the fourth, and grounded out in the sixth. Here's the pitch. It's flared out to right field, and a leadoff single for P.J. Safford. They're going to try to throw him out from right field, and he is out. On the throw from right field, I spoke too soon, and Safford's leadoff single stolen on a good throw from Peterson in right. The unlikely 9-3 putout is how we start the 8th inning. It'll bring up Ian Meyer, who is 0 for 2 today. He flew out in the 4th inning, and he grounded out in the 6th inning. It's now up to him to try to get the rally started for the Falcons. And it's a curveball off the hand of Stuyvesant that drops into the zone, 0-1. Meyer's been the designated hitter today. So he awaits the 0-1 pitch, takes a similar curveball in a similar location. Count now 0-2 to Meyer with Corbin Hamilton on deck for the Falcons. Set is Stuyvesant, and the pitch is a sharp grounder to third. Jonas up with it cleanly. Throw on to first is in time, and that will be the second out in the 8th inning. Brings up Corbin Hamilton for the Falcons. Hamilton today is 3 for 3. 3 singles and 2 RBIs for him, although he's been left stranded at second every time so far this game. Here's the pitch. Curveball. Hamilton takes it inside. The count is 1-0. After Hamilton, should the inning continue, it's Carson Pimley in the order for the Falcons. Set is Stuyvesant. The pitch will misload to Hamilton. The count is 2-0. Stuyvesant has pitched well in relief against the Falcons, although he did surrender the lead in the 7th. Hamilton swings through the 2-0 pitch, 2-1. He's thrown in both games for Kenai today. A lot of pitches. Only threw 40 in the opener, so can continue to go here in this contest. He pitched in the late going of that one, too, and held on to the tie ball game for Kenai. It was a very similar situation to how this game played out, where they didn't have the lead early. They had to battle back in the middle innings as Hamilton flies one over towards center field, and as the center fielder Kaditz puts it away, and the Falcons down in order in the 8th. Do we have more baseball in us? Yes, we do. Not to the time limit yet. So to the 9th we go, tied at 4 on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom.
On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
5, 6, and 7 in the Kenai order due up against Hunter Glidden this half inning. It's the top of the 9th, and we are tied at 4. Jacob Jonas, Gavin Peterson, and Jackson Kaditz due up this half for Kenai. First pitch from Glidden bounces to the plate, and the count is 1-0. So far in the ball game for Jonas, he is 1 for 4. He singled and scored in the 5th inning. The 1-0 from Glidden, that one also bounces. The count is 2-0 to Jonas. They've already had 2 games that have tied today. This will more than likely be the final inning of play, as the 2-0 is going to be, oh, that's in the zone. 2-1. Slider thought it missed outside. The count now 2-1. We had a game tie in our group earlier today. Of course, that was Kenai and Chugiak. Here's the 2-1 pitch. It's a ground ball back up the middle. Shively fields it on the second base side of second base and makes the play, ranging all the way over to his left to come up and make the play. And a heck of a job by Shively to record the out. All the way to the other side of the bag. And that is how we get our first out in the 9th inning. Here's Gavin Peterson, who is 0 for 3 today. The first pitch on the way from Glidden misses inside, 1-0. The other tie came in the nightcap of Thursday night's affair when West Anchorage tied with Madisonville. That was a 6-6 final score. The 1-0 popped up behind third base. Safford into foul territory, moves over to put it away for the second out. 2 gone quickly in the 9th inning for Kenai, and it will bring up Jackson Kaditz. Kaditz has probably been the most impactful player on the offensive end for Kenai today. He is 3 for 4 with an RBI and a triple and a run scored in the contest. He's come up when his team has needed him so far. First pitch from Glidden misses outside, and the count is 1-0. On deck, if the inning continues, is Ari Miller for the Kenai Twins. Here's the 1-0 pitch. It is hit in the air, center field. Max Price back a couple of steps. Now moving to his left, but he'll make the catch and end the inning. Kenai down in order in the 9th. The Falcons will lead off with Carson Pimley when we come back to the bottom of the 9th on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
At MyBasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
the pace and reach of social media,
the information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
MyBasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
Leading off the bottom of the 9th inning for the Klamath Falls Falcons is Carson Pimley. He'll be followed by Carson Sims and Max Price as Jaden Stuyvesant still on the hill for Kenai. We are tied at 4 in the Alaska 529 Midseason Classic, the final game of group play for the Falcons. And if we hit our time limit here, the Falcons will secure the top spot coming out of our pool, as that pitch is a check swing, and the count is 1-1. Now, a 2-hour, 15-minute time limit is what we play with here. As I check what I've been on the air for 2 hours and 13 minutes right now, so we're getting pretty close. I got on the air probably about 2 minutes before we started the game, as Carson Pimley grounds one into left field, and a leadoff single. The tying run is on base after the knock for Carson Pimley. It'll bring up Carson Sims. He started at 2:35 here in Alaska, which would be 3:35 back home. So I think we're only about 5 minutes away from that time limit being invoked right now. The rule is no new innings after the time limit. It doesn't end right at that time limit. So if we don't get out of this inning in the next 5 minutes, then you would play a 10th, unless, of course, the Falcons can walk things off here. Sims lays down a bunt. Stuyvesant comes off the mound, throws on to first, and they get the out. But Pimley advances to second on the sacrifice. Winning run in scoring position for Max Price. Price today is 2 for 3. He has singled twice and scored once. Also flew out to left field in the first inning. The second baseman, Harper, over to check on the runner at first as the first pitch to Price is right over the heart of the plate. 0-1. Pardon me, that's Clemens out there at second, not Harper. Make a quick note as we await the 0-1 pitch. Price looks at it for strike 2, a curveball that hits the outside corner. Price now going to have to defend in a 2-strike count, 1 away in the bottom of the 9th inning, winning run at second. Here's the pitch from Price. He hits it in the air right at home plate. The pitcher, Stuyvesant, comes off and makes the catch for the second out. And so now here's Connor Shively. Shively hit the RBI that tied the game in the bottom of the 7th. Now a similar opportunity in the bottom of the 9th, needing a base hit to send the Falcons back to their hotel rooms here in Anchorage happy. The pitch from Stuyvesant is hit to the left side, foul. The count is 0-1 to Shively. If he finds a way to get on base without knocking in that run in scoring position, Jacoby Takini is due up next for the Falcons as Shively awaits the pitch from Stuyvesant. Takes it upstairs for a ball, 1-0. Like I said, Shively's done it once this game. He'd be the guy you want in this situation, the team leader in batting average, the team leader in hits, in RBIs. Takes a curveball outside, 2-1. But his baseball can be funky sometimes. In this spot, throw it all out the window. Shively just needs a base hit. 1-on-1 with the pitcher. He swings through the pitch, 2-2. Stuyvesant receives the ball back, does a lap around the hill before settling on the rubber. Shively back in the left-handed batter's box in a 2-strike count. Here's the pitch. It's a line drive into left field, down for a base hit. Pimley gets the green light. He gets halfway there before they slam the brakes on him. Teeters was waving him around until a good throw in from Stephenson held him there, so we'll have to wait just a bit longer. Jacoby Takini, an opportunity now for the Falcons, but not before the infield comes in and all has a chat with the coaching staff for the Kenai Twins, the Alaska 529 Midseason Classic. Semifinals being played tomorrow. The Falcons have already secured their spot, and with this timeout being called, that will likely invoke the time limit after this half inning. So whether the Falcons win or tie, they have already secured the top spot out of Pool B based on the points system. Now, of course, you'd like to win this game anyway, but the Falcons, as best I can tell, will be playing tomorrow night at 5 o'clock in semifinal number 2 as the top team out of Pool B. Kenai would, well, they are tied up with Chugiak. I think it goes to runs allowed after that. I would have to do some quick math in the commercial break to really line that out for you. But that's where we're at right now. It's Kenai, and if they tie, they would earn that second spot. If they lose, then you'd get into the mathematical equation. This really, at this point, matters more for Kenai than it does for our Falcons. Of course, I'm sure Klamath would still like to come away with the win, even though they have already secured the top spot out of Group B. The first pitch misses low to Jacoby Takini, and he gets ahead 1-0. Shively on the move, and it's popped up near second base. Brophy makes the catch, and that will end the ball game. Through 9 innings, we finish in a 4-4 tie. We'll be back, and I'll give you an outlook on what the bracket is going to look like tomorrow, at least to the best of my knowledge, here next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com.
Pacific Power works day in and day out to power our communities because we know our neighbors rely on us. We're trimming and clearing branches around poles and lines, protecting our system, and giving you real-time updates when storms roll in. You can count on us in all seasons. 24/7, we're here for you. Powering your greatness.
The cars we drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see two things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the two memories that stick out the most to me.
As a parent of a high school athlete, I've given up trying to get pictures of my kid playing sports. It's nearly impossible to take pictures and enjoy the game. There is a solution, though. God's Gifts Photography attends high school sporting events in the Basin to take individual and team action photos at a great price. Search God's Gifts 2 on Facebook to learn more. They'll come and capture your athlete in action, creating those frameable lifelong memories so you can watch and just enjoy the moment. Call 541-281-2206 to get your athlete on their schedule. God's Gifts Photography.
And welcome you back on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com. A 4-4 tie is how the Klamath Falls Falcons end group play at the Alaska 529 Midseason Classic against the Kenai Twins. The Klamath Falls Falcons, 4 runs on 10 hits. They commit 1 error. They leave 9 runners on base. For Kenai, they score 4 runs on 9 hits. They commit 3 errors, and they left 13 runners on base in the contest. There is no winning or losing pitcher in a tie. Was getting ahead of myself there. Let's go over some notables, though. First, for the Klamath Falls Falcons, as Max Price finished 1 for 4 today with a run scored. Connor Shively was 2 for 2 with 2 RBI. Jacoby Takini was 1 for 5. Colin Takini was 1 for 3 with a run scored. P.J. Safford was 1 for 3 with a run scored as well. Corbin Hamilton 2 for 3 with 2 RBI. Carson Pimley was 1 for 4. And Carson Sims was 0 for 3, but he did score a run in the contest. A standout performer to me for Kenai was Jackson Kaditz, who finished 3 for 5 with an RBI and a run scored. Other multi-hit efforts for Kenai included Stephenson, who was 2 for 4, and Jet Brophy, who was 2 for 5 in the contest. So the Klamath Falls are the top team out of Pool B in the 529 Midseason Classic. That means that they will play the second team out of Group A, which is still yet to be decided. Service plays West Anchorage next, and Diamond plays Madisonville in the nightcap tonight, and that's when we'll find out who the Falcons come back and play at 5 o'clock tomorrow for a chance at the 7:30 championship game at the Alaska 529 Midseason Classic. For Kenai, their road continues as well. They are the second team out of Pool B, and will make the first semifinal to be played tomorrow at 2:15. They will play the top team out of Group A, which, again, still yet to be decided. That means Chugiak's tournament will end in the 5th place game tomorrow at 11:45. Again, still unsure who exactly they'll wind up playing. And then South Anchorage, who is also in our pool, they finished 0-3 in pool play. Their tournament is over. But the Klamath Falls Falcons advancing to the semifinal, looking to make it to the championship game and be only the second ever team from Oregon to do that, and maybe, just maybe, claim a tournament title tomorrow evening. We'll be back with you for all that once we get there, but before we head off the air tonight, want to thank our tournament sponsors one more time. That's Heartfelt OBGYN in Klamath Falls, and also the Eisler Group for sponsoring our broadcast this week and getting us on the road here to beautiful Anchorage, Alaska, and wonderful Mulcahy Stadium. It's been a great event so far. Very excited to see where the Falcons wrap up tomorrow, and wouldn't be able to do it without the folks from the Eisler Group or from Heartfelt OBGYN in Klamath Falls. Also want to thank both head coaches of both teams today, Sean Teeters, of course, for our Klamath Falls Falcons, and Rob Kuland for the Kenai Post-20 Twins, for talking with me even just briefly before the broadcast began today. Appreciate working with not only those guys, but everybody who I've come into contact in here with Anchorage, Alaska. The list would go on for a while, but everyone here has been absolutely fantastic. Excited to wrap up tournament play tomorrow, and thank you to you for joining me today from Anchorage, Alaska. Without you, I'm just a guy in a closet talking to myself over here in the press box in Mulcahy. Thank you for joining us, whether it was just today or whether it's been all tournament long or all week long from back when the Falcons were in Wasilla. From the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for choosing MyBasin.com and 104.3 and 960 Sports to follow the Klamath Falls Falcons this season. Like I said, back again tomorrow at 5 o'clock for the semifinal as the Falcons end in a tie against the Kenai Twins in this one, but a chance to play for a title game tomorrow afternoon. Until then, my name is Josh Eldridge saying have a great rest of your Saturday night, and I'll see you tomorrow. But for now, so long from Mulcahy Stadium in Anchorage, Alaska.